Ink pen equals slaughter weapon. What do I mean by that? Hey, this is Eric Johansson. It is time for another quick Bible study. And today it's coming from Ezekiel 7 through 12. So let's jump right into it. Ezekiel 9 verse 1 says this: He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, Cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. Verse 2. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. Every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side, and they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. Let's talk about a few things here. 6 men, they all had their, according to the Bible, slaughter weapons. One had the ability to write and mark. Okay, so we've all heard of the idea of like the power of the pen and things of that nature. So we know that there's power in writing things. And in this case, we're going to see what this one man clothed in linen, which typically, warriors do not typically dress in linen, right? They dress in leather and more hardy kind of fabrics to protect them in battle. So linen was seen as something more of a leisure type material of the wealthy and that kind of thing. So it's interesting. There's 6 men here, and one is a very different kind of person. Okay, and then they went and stood beside the brazen altar. Well, I don't know how much you know about the way that the temple was set up for these Jews. Again, we're in the book of Israel. It's not written, or Ezekiel, sorry. It's not written to you. It's written for our learning. There's some things we can learn. So what was the brazen altar? What was that thing? That was just one component, if you will, of the temple. Well, the brazen altar was made of brass, and it was essentially a huge barbecue. Had a grate that could be lowered and raised, and there were coals in it, and that's where the sacrifices were done. And in fact, typically every morning a lamb was sacrificed, every evening a lamb was sacrificed, and then there were other burnt offerings that were done on this brazen altar. So this was literally a place of death. These 6 men with their slaughter weapons were standing at a place of death. I don't think that's just a coincidence. God had them stand in that location for a very particular reason. So let's jump forward just a verse or two in Ezekiel 9:4, and it says, And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay, so in this case, this power of the pen that's been equated to a slaughter weapon was used to separate those that were actually so deeply concerned for the evil that was going on in Jerusalem that the Lord was going to save them. And then the other 5, if you read today's reading, you're going to see those other 5 went through the city and killed everybody else. So let's jump forward just real quick, and then I'm going to be done. In the future is coming a time where people are going to have to choose whether or not to accept the mark of the beast. And that is a mark that cannot be undone. Now, thankfully, the church will have, Jesus Christ will have come in the clouds and drawn up his church from the world. And so Christians today will not be having to make that choice of choosing the mark of the beast or not. I think we're seeing a lot of precursors to the mark, whether it's vaccines or chips being, microchips being implanted in people and animals and all this kind of thing. It's all just getting people conditioned to just accept these kind of, insults to the body, these marks, if you will. So I'm going to leave that right there. But just know, God can mark people, the devil can mark people. And in fact, the Apostle Paul, I don't have the verses here. Maybe I'll do a separate video on this, but the Apostle Paul also talks about marking people, and he says, mark those that believe what he teaches, and he says, mark those that don't. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but he's saying, mark those that don't believe what we believe and that cause offense. So this, for lack of a better term, this kind of kumbaya, you know, Michael wrote his boat ashore and all that we have in the local churches today, that's not going to work. That's not God's way. Jesus Christ said he came to divide. It said he came for those that needed a physician. And he also was exclusive. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and that no man gets to the Father except by him. Okay, and so most religions, most churches today are inclusive, meaning just come with whatever beliefs you have, keep whatever beliefs you have, as long as we're talking about God or our feelings, or, you know, you mention Jesus once in a while, it's okay. That's all that's required. And hey, that's a good place to start, I suppose, as an individual. But when an organization has no standards for truth, that's called inclusion. And Jesus Christ was not an inclusionist. He was an exclusivist. I don't know if that's a word, but it was him or the highway. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me. So what Catholicism teaches, mark it, it's evil. What Mormons teach, mark it, it's evil. What Jehovah's Witness teaches, mark it, it's evil. Muslims, they have another God. Mark it, it's evil. Get in your Bibles, folks. That's what these videos are for. They're to support my Bible reading challenge. It's going to start in January again. So I'm glad you're here. Subscribe. I need 50 subscribers to go live. Don't you want to see me go live? Come on, it'll be fun. All right. Thanks for being here. Have a great day.